Hi everybody, welcome back. Last time we made a super simple 3D model of a character like this. So you can see, very blocky, a little bit like Minecraft, very simple. Today we're going to change this simple character into something a little bit rounder and more natural. And we're going to learn some more of the important controls and techniques and tools that we can use in Blender. So to start off, open up the file from last time or download it. You can find it in the description below. And here you can see we are in object mode right now. So we're going to change to edit mode. So first of all, I'll just change this so you can see what I'm pressing. Okay, so first of all, right click on your character to make sure it's selected. You can see with the orange line that it's selected. Now we're going to go to edit mode, and edit mode is where we can change things. So here we are in edit mode. The first thing that I want to change, I think, are the ears. We're going to make them small at the top and then bigger at the bottom, just like the example we saw earlier, small at the top, bigger at the bottom. Okay, so how can we do that? We want to make this triangle shape. Well, we can't do it at the moment because we are in face select mode, so we can only select these squares, and it's very difficult to change them. So what we need to do is we need to change to vertex or point select mode by clicking down here. You can see point, line, and face select. We want point select. And then using Shift middle mouse button and moving the mouse, I'm holding down Shift and middle mouse button. I can move around, and middle mouse also rotate in 3D. So these 3 points, 1, 2, 3, I don't want them because I just want a nice triangular line here. So I'm going to click X, and X is delete for making them go away. And then I'm going to click edge loops, the bottom command. So now that's gone and we've got a nice triangular shape here. Let's do the same to the other side. I'm using middle mouse to rotate around, to move around. 1, 2, 3, and again X brings up this menu, X, and the bottom one is edge loops. Click on that, and there we go. Now I want to do the same with the tail, because the tail is very blocky and square. So maybe these 3 points, I don't need them. Hit X, edge loops, and now it's more round. And I'll do the same down here. 1, 2, 3. So right click and then Shift to select more. X, edge loops. And actually we can make this a little smaller if we want. If we click S, S can make things smaller or bigger. You can choose, change the size, change the scale. So maybe I'll try this. It looks a little bit more natural now. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do is we want to make the top more round and the bottom more round. So let's see how we can do that now in this. Okay, so now we're going to get to work on changing the head. So I'm using middle mouse button to rotate to the top. You can also click View Top. Now, why is this so slow? I'm selecting these tiny little points again. I don't want to do that. I want it to be quicker. So if I go down here, you can see point, line, face. Click on face. Now see what happens when I right click. I'm selecting a whole square. I'm holding Shift now so I can select lots of squares. And I'm making a nice little square, larger square in the middle that I'm going to lift up. And we'll see what happens then. So if I lift it up, you can see that it is more round at the top of his head now. See, we're getting more of a round look. So we want to do that again. I'm going to select these four here. You can click view front to go to front view, or click 1. G, press G to grab, and we can lift it up like that. So you can choose how much you want or the shape you want. I'm happy with that. Oops. So that's deselected now, A to deselect, so it's not orange. I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom. So holding shift and right clicking. Right, so here we are, we've made another square in the middle. Click 1 and pull it down. Okay, so I like the way that looks, so I'm going to select the next circle of squares, G, and pull it down. So now here we have a nice curve at the bottom and a nice curve at the top. Okay, so now we have made the top and the bottom a little rounder. Let's do the same to the side. Now the side is more difficult because we've got these arms in the way. So what can we do? Well, if we just try and select the arm with the right mouse button just like this, you can see I didn't select the back or the top. Now I need to select everything. I'm going to show you how to do that now in a moment. So we won't be using that technique, we'll be doing something a little different. And actually here there are so many squares, I don't want to have to click every single square, that would take so long. So instead I'm going to click B, and once you press B, this happens. We get a strange cross. Now if I hold the left mouse button, it will make a box. I'm going to select a big rectangle in the middle, like this. And now all of these points are selected. But wait a minute, what about these ones? Okay, so I will do that quickly by pressing shift right click to select those two. Great. But what about the arm? How am I going to select that? That's more difficult. Press 1 and then click wireframe. So down here, wireframe. Then click B again and left click until you select all of these points. When all of them are in the box, then you'll be able to release, to let go of the left mouse button. Okay, so now we've let go of the left mouse button. We have selected all of these squares. We can now go to solid. So down here, click on this solid so we can see the squares again. The color, hit G, and we can pull it out a little bit. So now it's more round. Okay, so now I want a smaller square, so we can make it more round again. If I click B and shift and then left mouse button, I'm holding down shift to let go. B quickly and then let go. Shift, hold, left mouse button, hold, and then let go. B, shift, I'm holding shift, not B. Left mouse button, holding left mouse button and shift. Let go. B, shift, left mouse button. So now I have a smaller rectangle. Go to front view by pressing 1 or view front. click G, and now that's round enough. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side now. So A to deselect. So it's not orange. B, very quickly, make a box. Now we have to get these squares. Shift and right clicked. Shift and right click. Actually, I should be able to get these ones too. Shift and right click to deselect. If you select a square, you can hit it again to deselect. It's the same button. Okay, so now go to the front view, G, try and make it the same as the other side. Okay, I'm having some problems here making it straight. As you can see, it can go up and down, and I don't want that. So if I click X, then it's not a problem anymore. I can only move in this direction. How did I know to press X? I will show you now. So down here, this red line says X. So if I click X, I will move only in that direction. Okay, so make the square smaller with B. Now press Shift, left mouse button, B, Shift and left mouse button, B, let go of B, Shift, left mouse button, B, Shift, left mouse button. So now we have a smaller rectangle. If I click G, I can pull it out a little bit. And try and make it the same as the other side. Okay. Okay, so we have made the bottom rounder, we've made the top rounder, we've made the sides rounder. We want to change the eyes next from something square to something a little rounder. So right click, making sure it's on face select, and then shift, right click, shift, right click, shift, right click, and then I want to move closer. So how can I move closer? Use control middle mouse button and move the mouse, and then, oh, I can't see the eye now, so shift middle mouse button to move the mouse. So now we can see it. If I click S, I can change the size, so I'll make it smaller. And then the other eye, 1, 2, 3, 4, S, change the size and click the left mouse button. I want it to be the same, but it's difficult to get it exactly the same. Okay, so why am I doing this? I want the eyes to be more like this. I'm going to make a white circle, then a black circle. So let's paint these eyes now. Go over to the right, to the menus. You'll see a button for a circle with some squares inside. Click on that. Here we have our colors from last time. Click on white, click assign. So now all the squares that were selected are now white. Go over here, right click, shift, right click, shift, right click, shift, right click. Click on white, click assign. So now we have two eyes with white in the middle and black on the outside. But that looks strange, they're very square. So we want it to be more round. So how can we do that? We can't do it with the square select mode. You have to change from face select to vertex or point select. So once you do that, click A so it's not orange. And now we can select just points. So right click on the point that you want to move, click G, and we're going to make it a little bit more pointed like this, because now it will look a little bit more like a circle. So it's not really a circle, but it's more like a circle. Later we will change something else to make it more smooth, more round. And if we look at this from far away, it will look quite round. You can see now that this eye is much more round than this eye. Okay, so let's change this eye. G, and then left click, right click, G, 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 left click. So it's not perfect. But it helps. Okay, so his eyes look a little bit more round to me. That's better. Right, so the next thing that we're going to do is really important. How can we make everything? Okay, so actually, before we move on to smoothing it, you can still see that the front is very flat and the back too is very flat, very straight. We want it to be round, just like the sides and the top. So next we're going to round the front and the back. Okay, so now we're going to move on to rounding the front and the back. So first of all, we have this point selected. We don't need that. We're going to go to face select again. So down here, point, edge, face select. So click on this square. And then click B for box select, and make a box by holding down the left mouse button. We could have done this before we changed the eyes. Maybe it would have been easier. But since we didn't, we'll just keep working. Just trying to select all these faces with B. Make sure I didn't miss any. There are some difficult ones there to get, but I think I have them all now. Quite difficult because there might be some inside. Okay, so now we're going to go to the side view. And then we're going to use G to pull it out. There we go. A little bit more round already. B and Shift to deselect and get a smaller rectangle. Now B and Shift. Okay, so now we are going to move these squares, go to the side, G, just bring it forward just a tiny little bit. And now his face is much more round. Let's do the same for the back. The back is a little easier. Make sure nothing is selected on the front. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now box for the rest. So that was quick. Go to the side. using middle mouse button, or click view left or right. That's a little better. Now B. Of course you could just select the box from nothing, but I've started doing this, so I'll continue. Go to the side, G, and that looks okay. So now he's a little bit more round. Still quite square, but a lot more round. Okay, so now for some final touches. He is a lot more round now, but still quite square. You can see all of these things are quite square. So how can we change that? I'm going to click Edit Mode, change to Object Mode. So especially now we can see that's not quite as round as we would like it to be. So go over here to the left menu and see Shading. Click on Smooth. So now he's a lot rounder. There's still some points here that we might want to move. We'll do that next. But first, another thing that we can do is we can go over here to the right and click on the wrench, this little tool here, and then click Add Modifier. So we're in object mode. We can add a modifier. So click on this little gray box, Add Modifier. Go down to Subdivision Surface. So it's Generate Subdivision Surface. Okay, maybe 2, 2. So now we can see he is much, much rounder. So these two things make a big difference. Subdivision surface and shading smooth. So he's quite round now. You could change one or two small things still if you want. But actually I think we'll leave it at that for today. So now we have changed our very blocky character into something much rounder and smoother.